Hey, you're watching Half Asian Tarot Queen. I'm Elisa, and I'm just reminding you the monthly giveaway. I've been doing these monthly giveaways. This month it's the Urban Tarot. It's a really, really cool, awesome deck, and almost nobody's even entered the giveaway. And I'm like, you guys don't understand how awesome this deck is. I mean, it's kind of, the Mystical Shaman Oracle has been kind of my favorite deck, but like I'm actually going to do a totally different spread than what I've been doing today, just because I want to feature this deck better because it's a really cool deck. And it's basically based on like the traditional deck, but using New York City as like a muse. So there's that. And so yeah, I'm switching it up like I was saying, and if you're new to the channel, I'm not really aspiring to be a tarot reader. I actually am I'm a vegan cheese maker. I just I'm on hiatus. I'm trying to get back to it actually, but there's some family stuff that I've been also working on, so I'm just kind of doing this just because I love it. But the videos on the channel aren't arranged according to date or storyline. They're arranged, I mean, they are arranged according to storyline, but not zodiac sign. So anyways, I'm babbling, but the point is that like you can kind of browse the channel. Like I'll put related videos up here. I'll link them up here within the video, but then also I arrange them in storylines, which you can access some of them down there. So just some babbling. But anyways, I'm doing a different reading, and hold on a second. I'm just gonna shut this door. Okay, so anyways, the readings so far for the month of October have been pretty wild. There's been some major shakedowns happening. The last few readings that I've done have been extremely dramatic. There was one called Deep Blue Ocean that was like super emotional, and then that was followed by one called London Bridge is Falling Down, and it was like two tower moments, like major drama. And then you know, the one after that was pretty dramatic too. But it all kind of started around the time of the Libra new moon. And one of the cards that came out is the Works, which was it was a pretty foundational card in that Libra new moon reading. But this is a card of like a new foundation that's being built. So anyways, I'm changing up the reading today because like I said, I want to feature this deck so you can see how cool it is. But this, on the bottom of the deck, we got the Ace of Swords, which this is a card of like truth. Like, I love how there's all this purple in the background. I'm wearing purple too. Because this, you know, it speaks to this sort of like spiritual influence, you know. It's just like the truth has been spoken and it cannot be denied, you know. And yeah, it's interesting how there's this like crown here too. That's in green. I mean, anyways, purple and green. So yeah, there have been a lot of readings leading up to this also about this truth being exposed and like causing this whole shakeup. And so I think we're kind of in the middle of this sort of like the reading for the month of October, which is actually where this giveaway is headquartered. If you're interested in entering, you can go to that reading, and it was called A New Reality is Bubbling Up, you know. And so it's like we're laying this new foundation because this truth, you know, it's like there's been like this period of like trying to like oppress it, conceal it, you know, but it's just like it cannot be hidden. It's just like out there, bold and beautiful, you know. And so we're having to adapt, and like, you know, I think there are certain people that like might be more in alignment with the truth than others. So like how well people are adapting is kind of depending on what that alignment looks like. But we have, I'm just going to show you all the cards. We have the Six of Cups, which is pleasure in this deck. We have the Four of Swords, which is truce. We have the Nine of Swords, which is cruelty. We have the Two of Pentacles, which is change. We have abundance, which is the Three of Cups. We have the Mage, the Magician. We have death. And then I already showed you this one, the Three of Pentacles, this new foundation. So it's really interesting because, like I was saying, you know, like this truth is coming down, and like depending on how you line up with that truth, like things are either going really good or really bad, you know, because things are changing. I mean, we got this change right on top of this new foundation. So it's just like the dust hasn't settled. Like this is, it's kind of still like shaky, you know, but it's happening. And so we have, it's interesting because we have this pleasure, the Six of Cups and the Three of Cups, which, you know, in the traditional deck, that can indicate like a reunion with like a soulmate person from the past, you know. But in this deck, it's interesting because the Three of Cups is associated with abundance, and the Six of Cups is associated with pleasure. So this like really speaks to, I think, the experience of someone who is in alignment with the truth, you know, like things are lining up, and that's a really good thing, you know. But then on the other side, we also have the Nine of Swords, cruelty, which is just like all this fear and anxiety, this broken doll, you know. I mean, this is a really unpleasant experience. And then that's right over death, you know, where we have this doctor and like these organs being removed, and, you know, it's pretty brutal, you know. So it's just like we have this change going down. The dust isn't settling, or it hasn't settled yet, and we have these two like starkly different experiences, like this cruel, harsh, clinical, horrible experience on one side, and we have this beautiful, abundant, and like pleasurable experience, and like someone like having a really wonderful experience, you know. And in between, it's interesting, we have truth and we have the Mage, you know. So this is the Magician. This is somebody who can create something out of nothing. Like this is a creator, you know. And I love how it like shows this starving artist who's like creating this masterpiece. And again, there's this purple, you know, purple rain. I think I have a reading called Purple Rain that I'll link here. There's this classical composer, Eric Satie, who was really famous, I think like in the 1800s, and he wrote these very eccentric piano pieces that are still very, you know, you hear them in movie soundtracks, and, you know, even today it's very relevant, even though it's classical. And he was known for wearing these purple velvet suits. So like he, you know, he was doing it before Prince. But, you know, with him we have the Four of Swords, which is truth, you know. So this is like, in the traditional deck, it's kind of like someone who's sort of taking a time out, you know. It's like withdrawing from the world, taking a time out, and like sort of like manifesting and creating, you know. So it's just sort of like, it's interesting because we have this truce, this time out, and then we have these totally polar opposite experiences on each side of that. So it's just like, it's almost like everyone's like camped out, and they're kind of manifesting, you know, the future. And like on one side we have the manifestation of just destruction and cruelty, and just like focus on like the negative, and on the other side we have this, the manifestation of this, you know. And we're kind of in this period where it's just sort of like things are changing, it's not settling out, it's not clear where things are settling out, but like both of these things are being manifested at the same time, you know, but yet the truth is coming out. So like it's about to be revealed, like which one of these polarities is in alignment with the truth, you know, like that's about to go down. So I'm gonna now go to the Mystical Shaman, which is like my favorite deck forever, and I'm gonna pull a few more cards and see what kind of perspective we get on top of this. But yeah, this is really, it's really interesting because it's like, oh my gosh, this is really going with the other cards. This is like a pretty big turning point is what I'm getting. Okay, so at the bottom we have the arrow. So this is a card. I mean, this is, I can't even tell you how much this is lining up with what I just said. The arrow is all about being in alignment with the truth and some, like the highest good. So it's like when you are in alignment, when you pull your arrow and release it into the universe, you're gonna hit your mark, you know? So I mean, it's pretty much what I was just saying, you know? So it's just sort of like the moment of truth is happening, and like we're about to find out like which one of these polarities is in alignment. Like that's kind of coming to light, you know? So then the other cards we got are the Serpent, Many Paths, and we have the Witness. So this is interesting because we have, the Serpent is a card of awakening, you know? It's like a Kundalini awakening. And so it's just like a shedding of this former self, you know, and stepping into this new, like, clean slate, awakened, new beginning, you know, having learned whatever lesson you needed to learn to evolve, you know. And then we have Many Paths. And this, it talks about, I mean, this message goes along with this being in alignment because it tells the story of these two stonemasons. They're both laying stones. And you ask one of them, you know, so you ask one of them what he's doing, and he's just like, oh yeah, man, I'm laying stones, whatever, you know. But then there's another guy, like a few feet down, who's doing the same thing, and you ask him what he's doing, and he says, I'm building a cathedral, you know, and he's very inspired, you know, because he's become part of something larger than himself. Like he's come into alignment with some higher purpose, you know. And then this flows so nicely into the Witness. So the Witness is, it's like someone who has kind of like come into alignment with real power, you know, and not by actively striving, you know, because it's just like sort of like actively striving to make something and force some sort of outcome is like, it's a very ego-driven endeavor, you know. But when you are in alignment with a higher purpose, or with like, you know, I mean, people relate to this experience in different ways. I mean, as the universe or God consciousness or a higher purpose or for whatever is the highest good. It's not necessary to be like clawing and striving, you know, because you just, you know that you're in alignment and you can trust that your arrow is going to hit the mark. And so if you've done the work on yourself, if you've aligned yourself with this truth, then there's no need to strive. Like things will just, they will just unfold, and you can just like witness the unfolding from this place of peace. And that's kind of what this speaks to, you know. So this is a really interesting reading. I'm gonna go to now to the Golden Art Nouveau, just to pick a couple more cards, just to get, you know, a little bit more clarity about the specifics of what's going down, because this is a really powerful lesson, I think, you know, especially with what's going down in the world right now, because there's a lot of stuff changing and it's pretty profound, and it can be really unsettling for lots of people, you know. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's just like, I feel like my my phone's been blowing up this week, because it's like, I feel like a lot of people are going through, it's like different circumstances, but the same circumstance, you know. Okay, so on the bottom of the deck, we have the Seven of Swords. So this is a card of deception. And at the root of deception, it's just like when you're deceiving yourself and when you're not in alignment with the truth, you deceive all the people around you, you know. So it's almost like you're living in a bubble, you know. And it's just like a reality that's sort of like in alignment with your ego and not in alignment with what's really going on. Like you've created a bubble, you know. That's what this person, and you know, oftentimes it's motivated by pain or not wanting to be able to see things how they are, you know. But this creates a lot of havoc for everyone when this happens, you know. So the first card we get is like the Page of Swords, and like this person is oftentimes like almost like a messenger when this happens. Like this also can like represent like a sort of like a toxic situation, like coming to light. Like it's like a stalker energy. Like this energy has come up in a lot in a thread, a storyline on the channel called Stalkers. But you know, this speaks to like this truth, like kind of being revealed, like this message of truth coming through. And it's interesting because this falls right on top of this Tower moment. So like I was saying, you know, like there's this moment of truth. It's not clear where the dust is settling, but like there's clearly some havoc that's happening. And then we have the Queen of Cups. So this is interesting because the Queen of Cups is like this person who is like come into balance with their emotions. They're at this manifesting from this peaceful place, and they're just like able to like watch things unfold instead of like striving and forcing outcomes based on their ego, you know. And this Queen of Cups is falling on top of this Five of Swords, you know. And so this is a card of like winners and losers, and like, I mean, this card really speaks to what I was talking about in the beginning of just having like this moment of truth, and some people are going to be in alignment with it and some people are not, and like it's going to be a painful, harsh reality check for those who are not in alignment, you know. And so, but that's not this person. This person is the person who has aligned themselves with the truth, and they're just like watching things unfold. So it's like we have these two characters and these two different things that are playing out, you know. It's like these two outcomes. So this person, the next card we have is the Chariot. So this person is like coming into power and being able to seize the reins and like move forward in like into this new beginning. And then we have this person. It's like things are falling apart. It's causing like chaos, you know, but there is this cup of love here at the end, like a message of love. So I don't know if like this person is going to be maybe forgiven or there's going to be some sort of healing at the end of this. I'm not sure, but this is for sure some major drama that's playing out. I'm going to go to the Starseed Oracle and pick like final card about this reading, but basically I think the foreshadowing event is like between the two characters, it's like there's one that's striving, trying to force an outcome. They're operating from a place of ego and self-deception. And it seems like this person is going to hit a wall. And there's going to be a massive change that's going to happen. Then there's another person that's operating from the place of balanced emotion, being in alignment with the truth, and just like calmly watching things unfold. And so there's going to be like vastly different outcomes for these two parties. Okay, so at the bottom we have forge, don't follow, pave a new path, be the leader that you wish you had. We have loosen your grip, coping mechanisms, density, addiction, let God in. So like I think this speaks to this character who's having a tower moment. Like the best thing to do is to stop striving and to stop trying to control and just let things unfold. You know, that is the lesson that person needs to learn. And then we have lifting the veil, questioning everything, anything unaligned must go. So this is like, you know, again, if you're not in alignment with the truth, then you need to like figure out where that's happening and consciously let go of whatever is being grasped for, you know. And then the other person who is in alignment with the truth is just going to forge ahead, because they were kind of like in alignment all along, so they're not really being held back, like they're being released, you know, to like move forward. Wow, this is like super like epic drama playing out. But there's going to be another full moon for Halloween, the 31st. I think it's coming up in a couple days, so I'll have a reading for that soon, and hopefully some of this drama will be like resolved, because it's been like pretty much like on the edge of your seat for a while, and it's exhausting stuff. So I wish you peace, and we'll check back soon.